All right. We are live, aren't we? Yeah. Mic working? I don't see the mic running at the moment. This may not be working. As soon as someone gets in here to let me know, because if it's not, I need to reload this. Get my radio voice going. Hopefully someone tells me. All right, if you guys can hear me as soon as you get in, tell me that you can hear the mic. Because for some reason I'm not seeing the thing. Not seeing the thing go on it. So someone please. Okay, good. You can hear me. Fantastic. Because the bar on it's not going. All right, awesome. Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. So we're good to go there. So, by the way, as I said, train shirtless today. I'm going to have to do that for a while. It is absurdly hot. It is so hot. Oh my God. Just the smell of the clothing afterwards. It's been ridiculous. So again, this heat's that bad. You guys have watched me sweating in the vlogs. I can't do it. It's affecting my workouts. We're going to have to go just in shorts for a while. I'm not going to have a choice. How tall and heavy are you, Jason? I am 5'9", 225 this morning, 225 pounds. But that is actually real, unlike half the industry. I've been to expos. Most of these guys are not the heights they claim. It's kind of comical. But yep, those are my stats. All right, let's get some questions going here. We got 12 people in here already. This is a good hour. I think this will fill up. I think the last couple where we only hit 50 or 60 people, we didn't have 10 people this soon yet. So you seen the right back? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Good question, Maiko. I nared everything off. It is hot. It is for cooling purposes. I am really furry. So this heat, I'm going to have to keep taking it off. I got to redo my back again soon. Yeah, especially training in the heat. Like my electric bill is insane right now. Oh my God, just because of the air conditioning. No, we've had a serious heat wave, massive heat index. They've warned people to stay inside, warned children to stay inside, everything. And it's, again, in the southern half of Texas. How did you handle British weather? I adapted. It was absurdly cold the first year. The perk in the UK, though, it never gets hot. Like there's no such thing as a hot day. Like they don't exist. Like you get like a warm month that's warm, but it's not ever hot. Do you still do hip thrusts, Francis? No, I don't do hip thrusts at the moment. Francis, if you ever want to know what my current training looks like, I literally vlog every workout I do year-round for the past 4 years. They're all on all of my social media. So it's here and Facebook now too. I upload everything. What temperature do you keep it indoors? I keep it at 72. I can't even get it to stay down at 72. I like it at 70, but like right now, let me check my smart app. I think, where are we at the moment? Oh, it's down at 70 right now. Fantastic. Beautiful. I've had a lot of issues where I've been trying to keep it at 70. It'll be at 75 with the AC, just going nonstop. Yeah, I know I like cold. I prefer cold. Your dad is from Wales. As Ali G said, my age is about to show. Wales, it's not just the fish with the biggest dick in the ocean. All Okay, joking aside, I actually like Cardiff. Out of all of the cities in the UK, when I lived there for 3 years, I personally, just my personal opinion, not to upset my British fans, I thought Cardiff was the most beautiful city in the country, out of the cities I saw just on average. I really, really liked their downtown area. I really liked it. Okay. Did you get much elbow discomfort when you were doing power curls every workout? You were doing them lower days too. No, I only did them for 1 week on lower days. No, I wasn't really getting elbow discomfort. I'll probably add them back in. The thing is, because I'm getting all the other grip training with the rowing, because I'm doing, 5 sets of rows twice a week, I feel like I can get away with the smaller curls for just a bit to work on biceps. But I may add the power curls back in. I do like power curls. I think they're a fantastic exercise. Shrek, can we please not ask about weird stuff like that? I don't want to toss any personal insults towards Mark, but you guys know that, I want to be very, very polite. He has impairments, and they're as a result of an injury, a childhood injury. Okay. And I really would rather not talk about this person. No, I never coached him. He's not coachable. Okay. Due to his impairments, he wouldn't be coachable. Because again, he was a fan of mine. His mother spoke to me. His mother told me the medical history, and I don't want to put his stuff out there in public. And I don't hold any ill will towards him, but you guys really need to leave him alone. The guy, again, he's got brain damage. Like, it's not cool to make fun of people like that. It's not his fault. It's not anything that he did wrong. It's due to an accident. Okay. It's due to an accident that happened before he was an adult that physically injured him. That had nothing to do with his own fault or anything else. So you guys really need to quit making fun of him. Just leave him alone. Move on. Okay. All right. Again, it is very inappropriate to make fun of a person like that. It really is, guys. What do you eat pre-workout, post-workout? A lot of rice, a lot of fruit. Today I've had chicken rice, stir-fried vegetables like Asian stir-fried vegetables, grapes, Greek yogurt. Let's see. Let's get. Bam. All right. Well, fitness for you. I mean, I hope Mark is doing great, but again, it's not really a topic that we should be discussing in fitness. And I don't care about whatever bizarre side shows happen around the whole fitness industry. I care about strength training. I care about serious stuff, right? And that's not a topic of conversation. For your clients that do the alternating upper lower 3 times a week instead of 4, do you add any volume per session since there's a longer time between sessions? No. Here's why, Patrick. Why are people doing only 3 instead of 4? Because their lifestyle is busy. It affects recovery. So I run them on what would normally be done inside of a week. We just spread it out over 10 days. Fitness for stuff he posted in the last thing, and I'm not going to discuss the stuff in these streams. I'm just going to hit the button and move on. I was planning on pressing it on him last time, but I got out of here beforehand. So we don't need to discuss that. So let's get back over to relevant topics. Chicken pieces or chicken breasts? Chicken breasts. Well, James, let me rephrase that. It started as chicken breast, but when I threw them in the Instapot with my rice and vegetables, I did take the oven-baked chicken breast and I diced it up into pieces with scissors. So I guess it would be chicken pieces. I mean, if we're going to be specific. But yeah, I usually take breasts. I bake 4 or 5 pounds of chicken breasts at a time in the oven. and then I put them in the refrigerator. And then I add them to food as needed. Or if I just want to snack on some protein, I take a chicken breast, squirt some mustard on it or some sweet and sour sauce, depending on if I want to add any carbs or not, and I eat it. And hopefully all of you saw the training vlogs today. Jason, can you give some examples for good ab exercises? No leg raises, please, sir. Look at all the... No, fitness, you don't have to. You're borderline a troll even trying to say that. You know good and well there are reasons people get knocked out. And if you're not a troll, there's no chance of you getting banned. So, Jason, can you give some examples for good ab exercises? No leg raises. Look at all the stuff Michelle puts up. I put up a bunch of her different ab exercises, weighted planks, weighted crunches. There's reverse crunches you can do with bands. There's tons of stuff. Right? Tons of stuff. You mentioned you benched 425 in the past. How come muscle memory didn't kick in to the 405? Because it was really that long ago. Like it's not like it was only a few years ago. We're talking 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And I don't weigh as much right now. Like right now, I weigh less. Moses says, let the man curate the space and stay on topic. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that, brother. Much love to you. What is your opinion on collagen supplements? Most people benefit from the extra glycine and proline. I've got mixed views on them, honestly. They were one of those that I even used for a little while because they fell into that maybe category. Some of the data I'm seeing coming out is showing maybe not so much of a benefit. To be honest, I don't know that I'm comfortable recommending them just based upon the available evidence. And that's just being fair. I think if anything, probably if you feel like you need more protein for whatever reason, add more protein to your diet. And before, I want to see further evidence on collagen supplements, more in favor again before I'm willing to endorse them. Right? I mean, we got to be fair. We have to be fair about it. Because again, keep in mind, so many supplements are a ripoff. What is the assistance exercise equivalent of the good morning for building? There's no equivalent. A good morning is Jay, please reword that. I don't know. Let me just start that over. I have no idea what you're asking me. Please word it differently. Jason, why don't you like Nordic hamstring curls? Currently, I have to rotate between GHR and Nordic curls equipment. Access limitations. First of all, the Nordic hamstring curl doesn't have the same full benefits of the GHR. It's less total potential range of motion for the hamstring, depending upon how you do it. Number two, I don't feel it's as safe. I feel like it can be hard on your knees. I don't think it's a bad exercise. Just the GHR is much better. And if I don't have access to a GHR, I'm more content to have people just mix things like a hip hinge movement with a leg curl of some type, right? Do you do any light but important work for shoulder joint health that isn't on camera face pulls? Yeah, I do some band pull aparts. Seems like you gained a lot of mass in your arms, especially forearms in your latest clips. Darko, yeah, I mean, my whole upper body's bigger. Like people should notice that at this point versus say 6, 7, 8 months ago. My upper body is thicker. It's not just my arms. Like it's not just my arms. Believe me, as a person who has to buy and put my clothing on, it's not just my arms. All right. Southern California, hot as heck today. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you think it's better to take your creatine 2 to 3 times a day rather than all in one go? No, no reason to think that. Jason, thank you for answering my previous question. I was thinking of measuring body fat out of pure interest. How did you is the most effective way to go about measuring it? Thanks. DEXA scan. Like nothing else is really accurate enough to really count. That's what I would recommend. Okay. Did you have a cheat day for July 4th, or you stuck to your diet plan? I've kind of stopped doing cheat days for a little while. I was doing a cheat, not a cheat day, but a big cheat meal every week for a while, and I cut those out about 3 weeks ago. I would rather just stay stricter on my diet right now. I don't feel like the cheat days help my gains. They don't seem to help my recovery. So, what's the point right now? I'd rather just stay focused and stay disciplined. And then, as I get closer to where I'm happy with my overall strength body composition, I'll incorporate them again. Or, at social events. Mainly, my cheat days tend to oftentimes be at social events anyways. Right? Okay, good mornings. Build the posterior chain right. What big movements do you recommend for building the anterior chain? All right, Jay, they're completely different things. So your question would really just be, what can you build your quads with? So you made it really complicated. Okay, let's just start that over. How do you build quads, guys? Single leg exercises, belt squats, leg presses, hack squats. No. Nordic curl is overrated. People do them upright with hamstrings and short in length. It's probably bad for hamstring hypertrophy, but probably all right for gastrocnemius. Can you continue training with torn tendons? In some cases, but that really is a question for your medical doctor and your specific tendon tear. How regular number of VMs would you recommend a lifter to be in a healthy range? At least one a day. Have you stopped messing with overhead press exercises entirely these days? Reoccurring shoulder irritation, I assume. Yeah, completely done with them for now. And you know what? My shoulders don't hurt and my bench has gone up. So the closest thing I do to overhead work now is incline bench. Are there any risks to flame grilling foods? Notice you mostly eat ready-made dairy and Instapot-made meals. Well, yeah, because Instapot's the best way to cook rice. I bake my chicken in the oven. So I grill other meats sometimes. Do you think people overall do way too much volume? Oftentimes, yes, they do. Coffee healthy or not? I'm going to go with yes. Single leg exercises, so walking lunges. Well, they don't have to be walking lunges. You could just do lunges. You can do regular lunges. You can do step ups. You can do split squats. They don't have to be walking lunges per se. It's up to you, but walking lunges certainly work. How do you feel about cables for accessories? I think they have their place. They can be good. I've made numerous videos explaining the 531 thing. All you have to do is go to the search engine on the channel, type in 531, and the full detailed explanations will come up as to why I don't work with it. Very straightforward. Because I really don't feel like rehashing it again. Again, no offense. I've made multiple videos answering it. And it's quite frankly a boring topic for me. It's kind of overplayed at this point. If you only have to choose one, is it a reverse hyper or GHD for a general strength program? That is a tough one. God, I almost need specifics. Like I really want everyone to have both. How old of a lifter? I think a younger lifter. I'm going to go with the GHR, but if they're 35 plus, I'm going to have to say reverse hyper. right? If you could only pick one. Why do people diss your GHI form? Your form is superior for hamstring hypertrophy because they stretched and have bent over. I know, plus look at the size of my hamstrings and look at my hamstring strength on my deadlift. It's just like people who don't like my form on rows. Okay, but I got it back. It's maybe they don't know what they're talking about. Or keep in mind, Darko, some people like to just criticize me just because they don't like me, right? I mean, it's at a point where if I just walked in and magically set an all-time world record in something, someone would have a problem with it. Like if I walked in and just magically was suddenly stronger than John Hack, not saying that's even remotely possible. It never happened, not even in a billion to one chance. Impossible. Guy is an amazing lifter, like 17 tiers above me. People would have a problem with it. Even if it was sanctioned, there'd be something wrong with my lift. There'd be something wrong. I must have used, 1,000,000 milligrams of tren. I paid the judges. My form was bad. It would be something. It's just the way it is. What do you do about it? Are external rotation exercises like bands or dumbbells important or a waste of time? Do you think anything to improve thoracic mobility? There's things you can do to improve thoracic mobility. I think a lot of the rotation exercises for shoulders in general are kind of a waste of time. I'm not saying they're bad, they're just a waste of time. Who is the most impressive powerlifter? I'm going to go with John Hack. And that doesn't mean like I know a lot about him as a person. I don't know very much about John as a person or anything else. But as a power lifter, I would say right now he is probably the most impressive power lifter out there. He really is. He's kind of in his own little tier. He's like in that Ed Cohen tier. He really is. So 20 years from now, just like everyone talks about Ed Cohen is the legend, I think John Hack will be that next guy everyone talks about the same way. The next generation, they're going to look back at him. He's going to be the man. Can we replace the 200-pound overhead press with incline bench? Your big five? I think you can pull the overhead press out completely and not have a big five standard at all. What were your biggest training mistakes in retrospect? God, there's too many to name. I find gym workout is boring versus public gym. Do you miss the competitive nature of working out with others? No, because I'm too chit-chatty. Miko, I am a chatterbox at the gym. It's to the point where it can be a distraction for me. So not really. I've been eating 3 heaping teaspoons of 100% peanut butter for a workout and notice I feel more powerful. Well, if it works for you, go with it. Coach, I can overhead press 135 for 10 reps. We can only bench from 185 for 8. If I have long arms, weak chest, yeah, work on your chest more. What sparked your passion for coaching? I don't have a good answer for that. Just like doing it. Can you explain your thought process behind today's bench programming? Well, was to come in and do a heavy peak set, get a good training response, and then build a bunch of muscle afterwards. That was my thought process, was hypertrophy, but I also wanted a little bit of practice with heavy inclines so that I can get my neural drive up a little higher on it. Do you need an MRI to see torn tendons or will they show up on an X-ray? That's a question for your doctor. Would 10 sets of hammer curls per week be overkill to improve forearm mass if someone already does 8 sets of rows and 4 sets of? I think that would probably be overkill, yeah. Your physique has developed since last time you trained your shirt off. Yeah, Baker, it has. It definitely has my upper body. I don't think my lower body is bigger. My upper body definitely is across the board. And it's still growing. I'm going to keep working on it. Does body English matter on pin leg rows as long as the bar is hitting your body? God, that is a source of great debate. I'm going to say it depends on the lifter and what their technique looks like. Are the alternative exercises to the reverse hyper? No. There's a reason it's patent. There's a reason I endorse it. I don't actually believe there is a replacement. Let me put it to you this way. If I thought there was a replacement, I wouldn't have dropped $1,000 out of my pocket and take up that huge plot of floor space in my limited garage for one. I mean, when people say put your money where your mouth is, I did. Right? I did. I noticed you don't do conjugate knowledge. What kind of program are you doing? I'm doing Jason Blaha programming. That's what I'm going to call it. I coach most of my clients on conjugate still. I would say 60% of them at the moment, maybe more. Does speed work sets count as full sets in training? I go back and forth on that one. So the answer to that question, I'll change my mind on it. So if I give you an answer, I'm probably going to change my mind on that one, probably until the end of time. How about you just keep your sets in a reasonable range and just approximate how many sets, what the quality you think you got from it, and call it good. Because I don't think there's a right answer to that question. That's the problem. How often can we expect these live Q&As going forward? I find these really helpful. I don't know. I'm going to do them pretty often. Do you still have a lot of clients? Yes. Yep. Some of the favorites are still on. Some of the ongoing ones. I'm not going to answer that, Joel. Have you tested winnings percentages versus losing percentage of speed work on your clients? Yes, and there are trends. There are definitely trends there, but I think it very much depends upon genetics and what they compete in. My general purpose athletes, I like winnings type of percentages a lot. And let's say general purpose, let's say even my guy who just wants a hell of a drive out of the tee box, who's a businessman and just wants to be strong, but he's not going to compete in powerlifting. I'll count him in that category. I lean towards winning stuff. A lot of my power lifters, I lean towards Louis percentages. So how's that for an answer? They're both right. Okay. Surprise, surprise, two very experienced, very good coaches who have slightly different opinions on something are both right. Seem to be kind of context dependent. They're both very smart people with a lot of experience. Surprise, surprise. They managed to get some shit right. That's kind of how that works. Why did you change your opinion about debate about half sets, full sets? Because it just creates too much silly complexity that doesn't need to be there. Look, either we should count something as a set or not. And if you think it's being understimulated, pick another exercise to add in. Done. Okay, done. I don't even do it as half sets. Let rows work biceps. If your biceps still aren't getting enough, do sort of supine curl. Done. See how easy that is? I don't think we need to overcomplicate that to that degree when counting sets. We really don't. Because before long, I've seen it with clients who came to me and they started doing really bizarre math off of it. I'm like, then I realized the problem. If you can only do 3 days a week, but 2 days have to be consecutive, can you make that work? Yeah, you can make it work. I mean, don't we do 2 consecutive days on a 4-day anyways? So let's say you've got to do it that way. Couldn't you just train Monday, Tuesday, and Friday? Of course you can. Joel, I answered that one last time. Go check yesterday's. I don't want to keep covering lactose intolerance over and over. not that complicated of a topic. If you prefer doing classic lists, oh, sorry, that was kind of a dick of me. I apologize, Joel. I apologize. I did not mean to come across that way. I'm going to try to be more polite. No, you can't reverse lactose intolerance, but there's a lot of things you can do to mitigate it. And a lot of that is dependent upon the severity of your individual lactose intolerance, the country your dairy is coming from, so on and so forth. Okay, makes sense? So it's a little bit of a nuance to that. But no, you cannot technically reverse lactose intolerance, because that would mean you would have to stimulate a way for your GI tract to make lactase when you no longer have the ability to produce it. Well, that's a bit of a problem. I prefer doing classic lifts all the time instead of rotating like a conjugate would, 3-2-1 volume would be a good way to prevent. Yeah, possibly. I mean, you can make that work. Is it true that once you are over 200 pounds, you can knock out almost anyone? I guess if you threw your body at them. To go back a bit of my question of hammer curls, how many sets of hammer curls you prescribe to someone? Well, here's the thing, 8 sets of rows and 4 sets of pull-ups a week. That's 12 sets. I would probably not do over 3 sets twice a week of hammer curls, personally. Is 5 sets of dumbbell bench and 5 sets of dips optimal for chest hypertrophy, not counting one heavy set of bench? It probably could be. It seems reasonable to me. Not saying that would be the exact exercises I would combine personally, but I think it's reasonable. What is the safest bicep exercise in your opinion? Safest? Probably the ones I did today. Just a normal dumbbell supine curl where you don't lean back. Leaning back, by the way, on a curl is always riskier. Favorite way to train weighted pull-ups? I don't even train them weighted. But unless you can get 10 reps weighted. Do them body weight until you can do sets of 10. When you can do sets of 10 plus weight, do 3 sets of 10 with weight. Do you still have large amounts of yogurt in your meals? I mean, I tend to eat yogurt year-round. I don't know how much is large. Can we define that? I eat yogurt every day. I don't know if it's always large amounts. Some days it is. Joel, no, the quality of the milk varies. How much it affects lactose intolerance varies. And that's been my own experience having lived in the UK versus living in Texas. They're not comparable, meaning I can drink significant amounts of milk in Texas before I get real signs of lactose intolerance. When I was in the UK, 1 glass of milk was enough to give me diarrhea of any of the store-bought milk. So that's what I mean. There's definitely a difference. And I've talked to other people who jumped different countries and have noticed a difference. Do you think humans will clone woolly mammoths and reintroduce them in North America? I have no idea. I can never do an underhand movements, chin up, supine rows, tendons get really sore. Yeah, and if they get sore, then don't do them. You ever tried back extensions with the barbell like Pete Robish used to do? No, not really. I like good mornings. I like reverse hypers. Hey, Jason, is 60 to 61% or more max for 10 good for hypertrophy? It could be, but you may want to see where your reps in the reserve are. Okay, that's a starting point, Zach. Okay, starting point. How many reps do you have in the tank? You should probably be getting within 1 to 2 reps of failure. So that gives you a good starting point. Assess on the 3rd set how many reps you can actually do and adjust. Should curls always be done strictly to reduce bicep tear risk? I have demonstrations of power curls that use body English, Marco. I have. Go to the channel, search engine on my channel, type power curl. There you go. I have demonstrations and I explain this stuff. I'm not going to jump into the whole protein longevity debate because it depends on how we define longevity. We're talking about sarcopenia problems at 70, or are you talking about living to be 100? Those are two separate topics, and they have completely different answers. Is incline work necessary for someone who has a weak chest or do bench? Is it necessary? Not necessarily. It could have benefits. Who would win in a fight, Bruce Lee or Mike Tyson? Well, right now I'm going to say Mike would win that one hands down. Right? For obvious reasons. Because, he's alive. But that being said, in a hypothetical, do I have to pick one? Dude, I don't want to upset the martial artists. Like, people are going to get mad if I say this. Mike Tyson's a bad man, dude. I mean, no, seriously. Think about that. Bruce Lee was very skilled. Don't get me wrong. Bruce Lee was very, very skilled. And I get it. Martial arts is generally superior to boxing for fighting. Mike Tyson is way bigger, way stronger. Did you watch that training stuff that he did even as an old man in his 50s of how hard he was hitting during that training for that fight? The guy's in his 50s with that type of power still. So, I mean, are you talking Mike Tyson in his prime? I mean, if you're going to make me bet money on this hypothetical fight out of my own pocket, and again, it's close, I'm going to have to bet on Mike. I don't want that man to hit me even in his 50s. Come on. Why do vegans look old for their age? Nutrient deficiencies. Did good mornings increase your deadlift more instead of volume deadlifts? I felt it had better carryover than volume deadlifts. Should the weight swing at the bottom when doing reverse hypertrophy? Should I stop? You can't not swing. Josh, I had some stuff happen with the storm. I put a little thing under there. A bunch of stuff got blown around. I had to quickly go tend to. We had a little thunderstorm come through. It's still raining out there now. We've had a lot of freaky winds lately, really freakish winds in the last few weeks during storms, in between the heat waves. Do you think most steroids will be made legal in the near future? Not under the current administration. Miles said, I feel yeah, I mean, again, I know it's hard to compare these different people in completely different styles, comparing Mike Tyson to Bruce Lee in a fight. But again, and it's no disrespect to Bruce Lee, but Mike Tyson's a bad man. What's the best way to eliminate body hair? Nair. Nair works great. Okay. If you could pick, this will probably be the last one I take. If you could pick 3 squat, bench, deadlift variations for a comp instead of the classic SPD, what would you pick? I mean, we could change to a box squat. That would deal with, and then with a pause, and then like a squat, just like we do on the bench. That would eliminate all depth concerns, everything else. We could do a box squat of some type. I mean, another type of press. I mean, it could be incline, you could do decline, you could do a floor press. I don't know. But floor press would really suck for people who have, thick backs. It's going to disadvantage you. So zero back training would be for the floor press specialists. They would never train their lats. I don't know. Who do you think will win in a fight, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? I don't feel that that's even a political question. It's a matter of frailty, body weight. I don't think there's a question about that one. I mean, again, this is not even playing politics. Again, set all that aside and just look at age, frailty, body weight, things like that. I think Trump would probably win, but they both might have heart attacks by the end. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. I hope it has been informative or at least entertaining for you guys. I love all of you, and I will talk to you next time.